Okay. Yeah. Erev Tov, everyone. There's an anecdote that I remember from my youth that applies to this week's parsha. This week's parsha, except for Parshas Kedoshim, has the most mitzvot of all of the parshas in the Torah. Mitzvah after mitzvah, positive things to do. After the Second World War, there was a great housing shortage in America. And land developers bought whatever land they could to build houses, to build homes. And the cities, the government, took advantage of the situation to sell them land that was not prime. So in the city of Detroit, where my father-in-law was, so the city of Detroit sold off its garbage dump, its landfill. And a developer bought it, and he covered it over, and he developed it and built homes, very nice homes at that time. It was more than just a housing project. And people bought it, but after a few years, the garbage began to seep up. So that within a few years, it was impossible to live there because of the fact that you were living on top of a garbage dump, a landfill. So that's what it says in the pasuk. Sur me'ra v'asei tov. Sur, the beginning is sur me'ra. Don't build on a garbage dump. Then v'asei tov, then we'll see what to do with the great mitzvahs of the Torah. I think the Hippocratic oath for doctors, you'll excuse me for impinging upon a field that's not mine, it was do no harm. That's the first thing. Don't make the patient worse. Then we'll see how to heal it. So in this week's parsha, there's a mitzvah. One of the mitzvahs, the Torah says, Kisivne bayis chadosh, if you build a new home for yourself, so make tosim begagecha. There's a halacha that if you have a flat roof, which in the ancient world, everybody had a flat roof. In our time also, people here fight about the rights to the roof. So the halacha requires that you build a fence around the roof. Shelo yipol hanofel mimenu. Nobody should fall off the roof, God forbid. So there's a mitzvah in our Torah, one of the mitzvahs I say, to build a makeh. And then the Talmud discusses how high the makeh is, how all-encompassing need it be, etc., etc. But the principle is established here in the Torah. So the Netziv from Volozhin, in his commentary to Chumash, the Hamek Dover, so he asks a simple question. You see the bayis chodosh. If you build a new home, what mitzvah falls into your mind first? Mezuzah. Everybody, and we make a ceremony with a mezuzah. You give a gift of a nice mezuzah cover. Something about mezuzos beisecho v'shorecha. So why does the Torah, when it wants to emphasize bayis chodosh, ignore the mitzvah of mezuzah and instead substitute a mitzvah of makeh, of building a fence? So the Netziv gives a technical halachic answer to it. He says because the halacha is that you're chayiv to put up a makeh immediately. Whereas he says in mezuzah, in Chutz La'aretz, you have 30 days. In Eretz Yisrael, you have to have mezuzah also immediately. But in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Eretz Yisrael, the halacha is that within 30 days, you have to put up the mezuzah. So therefore, he says the mitzvah of makeh comes first, before the mitzvah of mezuzah. That's why the Torah mentions it. Mitzvah bo biyodcho al tach mitzeno. Don't delay the mitzvah. That's a very technical answer. Rabbis certainly can't make a living from that. So there's an idea that the Meforshim say here. Your job is to prevent yipol hanofel mimen. Your job is not to do harm. Your job is sur meirah. And that's what a makeh is. A mezuzah, it's a nice thing. Everybody, in Israel, what, 80, 90% are observant with a mezuzah. But the Torah wants to emphasize that in a bayis, in a house that Jews live in, no damage should come to someone else. The Gemara darshans that from the pasuk, Lo sosim domim b'veisecho. In your house, it shouldn't be that someone got damaged. The Gemara says regarding having a frightening dog. I had a balabos in Miami Beach that he had two enormous Doberman pinchers. No Meshulach ever visited him. It's frightening. You're not allowed, right? Somebody should come into my house and be frightened. That's not what my house is supposed to be. My house is supposed to be welcoming. It's supposed to be the tent of Avram and Sarah. And therefore the Torah says you have to build a makeh. You have to have safeguards that the house should be proper, that it should somehow be protective, that it shouldn't cause concern, it shouldn't cause damage, God forbid. And therefore, that's why the Torah said, you see, when you come to build a new house, a new home, the first thing you should have in mind that my house should be protective of those who live within it, and protective of those who come within its confines. That's the halacha of a Jewish house. I know you're going to put up a mezuzah. People put up a mezuzah, I think it's good luck, it's this. There'll always be a mezuzah. but that doesn't protect what can go wrong in a house. What can go wrong in a house can only be protected by the action of the owner or the inhabitants of the house to safeguard the people in the house and people who come to the house from being damaged. That's true spiritually as well as physically. It's just the way it is. So therefore, that could be an insight into why the Torah listed Ma'akeh as the mitzvah b'bayis chodosh, because of the fact that we want to prevent damage, spiritual and physical, inhabitants and to the guests as well. And the Chananya ben Akash Omer, what's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Zakos Yisrael, V'chol chirbo lahem Torah mitzvot. She got an eichel months it go.